Good afternoon, students. Welcome to this session of Success at CA exams for paper 3B, Goods and Services Tax for May 2025 attempt. I am CA Shapali Jain.
I am CA Swati Agarwal.
And we both are your mentors for today's session. We both are faculty at Board of Studies for the subject of indirect tax laws. And today we will be apprising you with the tips for the examination. We will help you in preparing the revision strategy before examination. We'll help you in learning how to manage time in the examination, how to present your answers to have a good score in the examination. And we will be revising the important concepts of GST at intermediate level by way of questions. And these questions we will be asking you by way of a quiz, an interactive online quiz. So we'll be keep sharing you with the tips also in between, and we'll be doing the quiz also so that you can learn also the concepts which you have to apply in the examination. Plus, you can know the examination related tips also, that how you have to manage time in the examination, how you have to revise before the examination, day before examination, as well as during this intervening period. Because today it's 9th of April and we still have 20 more days, at least 20 days for the examination. So how you are going to revise your syllabus during this period of time, and what are the points you need to keep in mind during the examination. So let us start. And before we start the tips relating to examination, we want all the students who are with us in Zoom session, as well as who are watching us through YouTube, as well as who are there with ECPL, other platforms. So whichever platform you are with us, we request you to kindly join through this. From some other device, you have to join at this particular portal or this link, which is quizzes.com. So here you will get, you have to, when you join this particular link or you open this link, you will be prompted to put a join code. There we'll be telling you the code also. Code is 951450. This code you have to put. When we'll be starting the quiz, we'll once again tell you the code also. After putting the code, you have to put your name also. So we request all the students to put the name which they through which they are enrolled in the CA course, because that will help us in identifying the students who are actually, excelling in the CA course, who are actually excelling in their studies. So we want to identify you with your name through which you have registered with us. So please log in through that name only. So you have to enter the game code, which we'll be telling, which we have already told you. And before starting the, this quiz, we'll be once again sharing this code with you so that you are prepared on the other device for the quiz. When we start the quiz, you will not take much of your time for getting into the quiz. And then you have to enter your full name and you can start participating. We'll be revising some of the questions of the revision test paper. And through this quiz, we have broken the entire question into small parts, and so that you can appreciate each and every point which is there in the question of the RTP. So we will be helping you in knowing that how you have to read the case scenario based MCQs, how you have to proceed with them. Then the big question of computation of net GST liability. That question also we'll ask these finer points through the by way of quiz, and simultaneously you can keep solving that question in your pen and paper mode also, so that we can arrive at the final answer. But when you start with us the quiz, then you will know each and every point, the tricky points or the the finer points which you need to appreciate in each and every item, each and every outward or inward supply, which is given in question number 6 of your RTP. And then we'll do some other conceptual questions by way of quiz, so that you can revise your important concepts through this platform. So we'll try to cover as many questions as possible and as many tips as possible for your examination, so that after this session, you feel more confident about the forthcoming examination. So let's start with the next point, that is the pattern of the question paper. So we'll first of all apprise you through some of the examination tips, and then we'll start with the quiz. In the meantime, you all are requested to join through to quizzes.com through another device. In case you have any issue, those who are with us in Zoom session, they can let us know that so that we can help them. Or otherwise, you can write in the chat box also through other platforms.
Yes, so let's discuss the pattern of question paper first. As we know that the assessment of this paper is 30% case scenarios based multiple choice questions and 70% is the descriptive questions. Please note that there will not be any independent multiple choice question. Only all the MCQs would be based upon the case scenario. They will arise from the case scenario. You have to answer the MCQs on the basis of the facts of the case scenario, right? And 70% weightage is of descriptive questions. Now, as we know that this paper 3 taxation comprises of two divisions basically. Section A is income tax and section B is goods and services tax. So 70% of 50 marks will be the descriptive part and 30% of 50 marks will be the MCQs in case of GST. In total, 30%, 30 marks will be the MCQ portion comprising of both divisions, income tax and GST. And talking about the GST paper, 30% of 50 marks will carry the weightage of multiple choice questions. Now, but it may be noted that the preparation strategy as far as it is concerned for MCQs as well as for descriptive questions, that remains the same. It is just the manner of answering the question which makes a difference in case of MCQs and descriptive questions. For MCQs, one good thing is that you are not required to provide any reasoning, right? But for descriptive portion, you have to substantiate your answers with proper reasoning. Only then you are eligible for the full marks. You
That will
have
save
to,
their time also, because
yes,
when you are not supposed to write the reasoning, it saves your time. So for MCQs, you can accordingly allot the time.
yeah. And there would be no negative marking for wrong answers. Each MCQ have four options with only one correct answer. Since no negative marking is there, so we recommend to students that you solve each and every MCQ whether you are confident or not, because in any case there is no negative marking, so you will not end up in losing anything. You have to answer. Please attempt in entirety. All the MCQs you have to answer.
In fact, we suggest you to answer each and every question, because there
Right.
is no negative marking under CA
Yeah.
examination. So why to lose the opportunity to score marks in any of the questions? So whatever questions are there in the examination, descriptive or MCQ based, you should attempt each and every question. Now, on the basis of logics, sometimes you can answer a question. So try to answer every question. And this applies for every subject. So when you are into the examination, you are in the examination hall, you have to come out after answering each and every question. Sometimes a 1 mark here and there, which you have scored in this way, can help you in clearing the subject. Sometimes it helps you in clearing the group also. So you should try to attempt each and every question, and you can write the answers, descriptive answers, in your own words. So that is not it's not a prerequisite that you have to answer in according as per the language of law. No, you can answer the questions in your own words. Only thing is same meaning should be conveyed.
Yeah, very important. At 1 mark can make you CA,
Mm.
right? So yes, and in case of MCQs also, basically you need not write long answers also. You just have to write A, B, C, O, D. So that really saves time. So just do complete all the
They have to,
paper
yes, they
basically.
have to mark the OMR sheet.
Yeah.
So that bubbling should be done very precisely and, cautiously.
Right. Now, as far as MCQ portion is concerned, in total for paper 3B goods and services tax, MCQ portion will carry the weightage of 15 marks, right? 30% of 50 marks. And it will comprise of basically the case scenarios. Then coming to the descriptive portion is of 35 marks, wherein question number one is a compulsory question, and students have to attempt any two questions out of the remaining three questions, and that questions carry 10 marks each.
In fact, here I would like to add that first compulsory question, it generally asks you the computation of net GST liability. So that is the question you will always find in RTP. We generally put one question. In MTP also, you will find that first question, compulsory question. It generally has two subparts, and one of which is the computation of net GST liability, which is an integration of all the provisions, all the substantive provisions of law. So starting from supply chapter till the ITC chapter, all the concepts are generally tested by this question. So that is why it stresses upon the importance of these core provisions of GST. You should be very thorough with supply, charge of GST, time, value, then the place of supply and the ITC provisions. Pay special attention towards these provisions. You will see in the question also, which we will be doing today through by way of quiz. that all these provisions are somewhere or the other tested in this question. And in the remaining two questions, the remaining provisions will be tested. Small questions will be there, scenario based questions, some direct questions will also be there. In fact, in case scenario based questions, one or two big case scenarios will be there, where a scenario will be followed by three, four, or five questions. But there will be one independent application based MCQ, one or two independent application based MCQs will also be there. That means a small scenario will be given that will be followed by one question. So that can also be there. So you have to be prepared with the pattern of the question paper so that when you get to see the question paper, you don't feel that this was not something I was expecting. You should be familiar with the pattern of the question paper. That is why we are apprising you of this.
Then points to be noted regarding MCQs are, yes, all the MCQs are compulsory. No choice is available, as we have a choice of one question in descriptive portion, but in case of MCQs, there is no choice. Then obviously there is no negative marking for wrong answers for both, whether it is descriptive or the MCQs. No reasoning is required from you in case of multiple choice question. This is a big difference
As
as
we
we
already
compare to the
told you.
descriptive portion and the MCQ one. And MCQs will be, all the MCQs will be application based MCQs. There will be no direct theory question, no direct C&K comprehension knowledge based question. All the MCQs will be application based of 2 marks each, except one mark application based question. One question would carry, one MCQ will be carrying 1 marks, but that too would be of the nature of application based only. That would also not be a C&K question. That 1 marker question will also be an application based question.
In fact, Baljit is asking that can we solve the question on the question paper during the reading time? Baljit, reading time is when during the reading time you get only the descriptive portion. First of all, you don't get the MCQ based paper. So that is a very important point, because you might be thinking that during 15 minutes itself you will solve all the MCQs and then you will finish them before starting the paper. So that is not possible, because you get only descriptive paper. And that reading time, how you can efficiently utilize. First of all, you are not allowed, I think, as per the examination guidelines also, you have to see the instructions given on the question paper and whatever your invigilator suggests you. But you are not supposed to write anything on the question paper. And moreover, what you have to do in that 15 minutes time, that we will guide you properly. Don't start writing anything on question paper. Instead of that, you can do all the planning in that 15 minutes. That will help you in effectively attempting that question paper or effectively utilizing that 3 hours time which you get in the in the examination. So that will take you through. But please do not write anything on the question paper. I think that is generally not suggested.
Then coming to the revision strategy.
So after revision strategy, we'll start with the quiz. And any of you who has any, I think, please, those of who are there with us in the Zoom session, we request you to give us a go ahead that yes, you have joined the portal, which we have given, the link of which we have given, so that when we finish with this revision strategy, we can start with the quiz. We can start with the questions. Basically, we want you, all of you, to know the questions of RTP as well as the some other conceptual questions.
As far as we talk about the revision strategy, we already know that the more you revise, the more you remember, and the more you remember, the more you know, and the more you know, the smarter you grow. So this is the reason why revision strategy is very important, and why revision is very important before examination. Then coming to the point, how to revise the day before the examination.
Because we get one preparatory leave before the examination. And whatever you have prepared during this entire period of time, your study period, that can be fructified only when you are able to revise that. So something which you have learned, you have prepared during this period of time, and you're not able to revise that during that preparatory leave, it will become as good as not done. So this is very, very important that you revise effectively everything which you have done during the study period. And for that, you have to plan today. You have to keep ready all your revision material. In fact, in last session also, which I took for success at CA exam, I stressed upon this point that during this preparation stage itself, you should prepare your revision material so that on the examination day, you are fully updated. You have revised all the concepts which you have done during the preparation time. And for that, you have to have a comprehensive material ready with you, which you can refer day before examination. So we'll quickly take you through the revision strategy day before exam. First is go through Saransh booklet containing the pictorial summary of all chapters. Now, this is an addition to our publication, and this is a very useful addition which we have done this time. In fact, two more publications we have given to you. Last time also we discussed it, that MCQ book, MTP booklet is there, and case scenario based MCQ booklet we have given to the students of intermediate this time, plus Saransh for intermediate examination. Now, this Saransh contains the pictorial summary of all the chapters. Whatever concepts have been discussed in a chapter, they have been summarized in the form of a summary and through charts, diagrams, flow charts. That helps you in retaining those concepts and revising those concepts day before examination. But the Saransh booklet which we have given, you have to customize that Saransh booklet as per your requirement. You feel that you need to add some more points to it, you want to revise some more concepts day before exam, so you can insert those concepts, you can highlight those points in the summary booklet. So whatever you want to revise day before exam, that should be there in one booklet. We generally suggest students to prepare their own notes, but in case you do not have time to prepare own notes, you could not prepare them, Saransh booklet will definitely help you, but try to make it more comprehensive because every student has its own requirement. That is why we suggest prepare your own notes. That will help you in revising the concepts in an effective manner. But if you are using Saransh booklet, then you should substantiate it with the other points which you want to revise. It is a summarized booklet, and we want to revise some concept in detail. That also we should substantiate, or we should put those points in the booklet itself, plus the test your knowledge questions. So when you are doing the computational problems, when you are doing the practical problems at this point of time, and you find any practical problems which have some tricky points in them, then you should mark those questions, and day before examination, you should refer those tricky points which are given in those questions.
Baljit is asking, ma'am, where can we find this Saransh booklets? Baljit, Saransh is already uploaded on the BOS knowledge portal. You may refer from there. And one good thing about Saransh is that it is already updated till 31st October 2024.
For your examination, it
the
is fully
cutoff
updated.
date which is applicable for May 2025 examination. So you need not have to, apply any amendments in the Saransh. You just have to refer one booklet, and one booklet that will suffice. That is already updated one for the May 2025 examination.
Yes.
Then when we talk about the revision strategy, we always advise students to start from the substantive provisions before progressing to the procedural law, because substantive provisions form the backbone of the GST law. They are the fundamental provisions on the basis of which GST law stands. So that is the reason that going to the substantive provisions is of paramount importance. You have to start from the substantive provision, then only you will be able to understand as well as appreciate the procedural law. So first of all, the substantive provisions, as we know, the concept of supply, the taxable event of GST law is supply. Concept of supply, you know the chapter number 2. First, chapter 1 talks about the basic provisions, the difference between direct and indirect taxes, why GST is introduced, what are the benefits of GST, constitutional provisions including. Then the basic provisions of GST. Then
so you have to start from chapter 2, basically.
You have to start with from chapter 2. Then charge of GST, place of supply, exemptions, time, value, and input tax credit. As ma'am has already discussed with you that we have a compulsory question, and that compulsory question is most of the times all the amendments are picked from the substantive provisions only. So chapter 2 to chapter number till the ITC provisions, all the amendments, all the points, whether it is a reverse charge entries, exemptions entries, place of supply, all the different entries are there in question number 5, which is a compulsory question, and it comprises of the substantive provisions.
And apart from that, if you see the weightage of this particular section, the procedure substantive law, it has the highest weightage in your question paper. So almost half of your paper will be from these substantive provisions. That is why we stress upon so much on this particular point, that you should start your revision from substantive provisions. In preparation stage also, full focus will be on substantive provisions. And when you are revising, first revise the substantive provisions.
then go through the gist of tricky issues involved in the computational problem. Now, the tricky issues, it varies from one student to another student. Some student might find one issue, particular issue to be a tricky one, and another may find it to be an easy one. So it differs from person to person. It is individual specific. That is why ma'am has told you that we always, recommend the preparation of a customized notes. It may differ from person to person. Now, how can you do it? Basically, at this time, we can say that you must have completed your study. Now, this is the time for revision. Now, whatever you remembered it at the time of, solving the particular computation problems, you get, the gray areas for you, or you are, your answer got wrong just because of a particular adjustment you forgot to do. Just mark those things in a, on the right hand side, wherever the space you get in the study material or whatever, if you are writing those notes on your another notepad, in a separate notepad, whatever way you feel convenient for you, whether in the study material itself or in a separate notebook. But please write the few, bullet points where you feel that you are generally stuck at those points. Your whole answers, your whole net answer, net GST payable in cash, or the minimum amount of GST payable in cash gets wrong just because of a particular one or two adjustment. You may jot down them, and then the day before the examination, you just have to have go through those tricky issues in which you are stuck most of the times. Then, as you know, the GST is a law paper, and the lot of amendments, it is a rule-based legislation, and lot of amendments are issued throughout the year. Then, in the recent examination also, you must have seen that there was a special emphasis on the statutory updates, on the legislative amendments, recent amendments, which we have covered in the statutory update. So, while revising the day before examination, you have to pay special attention to the statutory update for this paper, to revise all the latest developments on GST. Although, one thing I would like to clear, that for May 2025 examination, the study material is updated till 31st October 2024. So there is no separate statutory updates. They are already included in the study material in the form of bold and italicized portion. Whenever, when you go through the study material, wherever you find the bold and italicized font, that means that is the statutory update
That
for
is an
you.
amendment. So
That is
we
an
have written
amendment.
here word statutory update. We mean that
Yeah.
the amendments which are relevant for May 25, which are there in your study material, pay special attention towards those amendments because they are generally covered or they have a substantive coverage in the question papers, which we have seen in past few
Yeah.
question papers. In fact, before Swati, you proceed further, just one more point that students who have joined through other platforms who are in YouTube, we request them to join through the BOS knowledge portal and come directly on Zoom platform because they can do the quiz also that way.
They
And
can participate in the quiz, and they will
yes,
learn, and they will also feel happy.
and we are
Yes.
once again going to share with you the link for the quiz, which is the in fact, let me show the QR code. This is the QR code through which you can join the quiz. This QR code you can scan and you can straight away join the quiz. So we are just going to keep this slide for, for 30-40 seconds so that all of you can scan this and you can join it through some other device. Even if you are not in Zoom, you can still participate in the quiz through this particular link. So you all are requested to scan this link and then you will be able to join the quiz. And we are going to uh, discuss today RTP questions, the computational questions of RTP basically, and one case scenario based MCQ. In fact, Leo Xavier has asked us how to approach the exams. In first, we write MCQ and descriptive question or some other way. So, Leo, this is actually the preference of every candidate that whether they want to attempt the MCQ questions first or they want to attempt the descriptive question. Because some students feel that by attempting the MCQ portion, they secure or they score the 30% portion or their 30% portion is safe and that saves some time also. So they can use that time for descriptive portion. This also generally is the one of the approach. Some students feel that it is quicker to answer the MCQ based question, so they can do it at the end also, and they want to pay more attention towards the descriptive part. So it is entirely one's own prerogative, and that you can make this approach you can make by attempting the MTPs, mock test papers. So if you attempt some mock test papers before the examination, you can develop a your customized approach. That which approach you are going to follow in the exam or which approach you feel is more comfortable. Plus, we'll help you in utilizing that 15 minutes reading time, how you have to go through the MCQ, case scenario based MCQ, everything we are going to help you with during the course of this session. And in fact, we hope that all of you would have by this time joined this link. We'll be starting with the quiz, but before that, we will take the point which we were discussing. And Baljeet was asking that nothing is mentioned. In fact, we were discussing one point which Baljeet has asked, that can we write something on the question paper, or can we start writing answers on the question paper in the reading time itself? So we had suggested not to write anything on the question paper, but he's saying no such instruction is there on the question paper that you should not write on question paper. Then we would suggest in that case you should ask the invigilator about it, and the pattern or the way which we would be suggesting you to utilize that 15 minutes will help you more about it. Okay. So, yes, so regarding statutory updates, Swati has already stressed upon that all the amendments are very important from the examination point of view. Pay due attention to them. Should we start with the quiz now? I think we will let you know how to manage time in exams, which all of you want to know. Before that, let's do some questions. And in the meantime, we'll again come back to this during the quiz itself. We'll give you some break. So should we start with the quiz, Swati?
Yes.
Okay. So we have lot many students joining us, and we are starting with the quiz. In fact, first question will be there on your screen, but we have not given you the case scenario actually.
You have your RTP with you. We are giving you.
So in this question, I have disabled the timer as of now because I want you to first of all see the RTP.
Yes.
Okay, then this question will be more fruitful to you. So let us see the RTP. And let us see where the RTP is available on the website. Because as Baljeet asked, where will we get the Saransh booklet? So you should know that you will get everything, all the BOS related publications on BOS Knowledge Portal. And see, Saransh booklets are here, Baljeet. You can see you will get the intermediate Saransh also. But we are straight away moving to revision test papers for intermediate taxation paper. Yes. So first of all, there is income tax RTP, and then we have the section B, that is goods and services tax. Now, before reading this particular scenario, what we suggest that how you should approach the scenario-based questions or case scenario-based MCQs. You should first of all go through the case scenario, just have a reading of the case scenario, and then read all the questions. After that, after reading the questions, you should once again go to the scenario and try to locate the relevant piece of information which is required for answering each and every question. So you pick up an MCQ and then see the relevant information which is there in the scenario, which you require to answer the question. So this way, and relate with it with the applicable provision of law which you need to apply for answering that particular question. This is what we are going to follow this today, and we'll be reading the case scenario first of all quickly so that you can answer the questions or you can participate in the quiz. First question you have already got, but that does not matter to us. What matters is you should know the concept properly. So, Swati, will you read the scenario?
Yeah, let's go through the case scenario. Sambhav Limited, a company registered under GST. Wherever we feel that some information is relevant or it could be relevant, we will, side by side mark it. Sambhav Limited, a company. Can we mark?
Okay, no, it will not work here.
Yeah.
So you just have
Sambhav Limited,
you
a
can
company
do that. We'll not
registered under GST, registered under GST. So Sambhav Limited is registered under GST. That you can mark it. Yes, Sambhav Limited is a registered person. And engaged in manufacturing and e-commerce operations, operates in multiple states across India. Company procures raw materials from various suppliers and supplies finished goods both domestically and internationally. It also acts as an e-commerce operator, facilitating third-party transaction as well as supplying goods and services on its own account. Through its portal round the clock, during his financial review, the management of Sambhav Limited observed the following. Some information is given from the perspective of management of Sambhav Limited.
So till now, we have find out that Sambhav Limited is a company which is providing some services and which is engaged in manufacturing as well as it is engaged in e-commerce operations. And these e-commerce operations, when we say other suppliers can also supply goods and services through it, as well as it makes supplies on its own account also. So both ways this e-commerce portal is operating. Now it has provided some relevant piece of information for the during the financial review, whatever information the management has observed, each and every information we'll be seeing, and then we'll see the questions.
Company discontinued its operation. Now, what is important here is you can the company has discontinued.
Yeah, this is
so any provision which may be relating to discontinue of operation should click in your mind.
Yeah, that is very
The
important.
company discontinued its operations in the state of Assam from 15th of December. The online application for cancellation of registration was furnished on 5th Jan. Registration was suspended from same day. Further, order of cancellation of registration was passed on 2nd Feb, wherein the registration was cancelled with effect from 31st January.
So we have been given different dates with regard to discontinuance of business, and you have to see how these dates are relevant while solving the question. We'll see that.
Then company paid an amount of rupees 5 lakh along with tax payable thereon to its supplier Rudraksh Enterprises pursuant to the settlement of dispute in December month of current financial year. Company had earlier reversed the ITC.
Now this could have some impact on any of the questions.
Reverse the ITC related to supply receipt from Rudraksh Enterprises due to non-payment of consideration and tax amount. Invoice was issued by Rudraksh Enterprises in the month of September of the previous financial year. Right, so company has paid an amount which was reversed earlier, right? The ITC of which was a reverse earlier.
Company had not paid that amount; it was disputed, and now it has actually paid that amount. So we have to see ITC
any relevant
and
provisions,
relevant provisions relating to maybe ITC, maybe some disputed amount. That can be.
Then company provided accommodation services to Governmental Agency of Gujarat registered under GST only in the state of Gujarat in its own hotel located in the state of Rajasthan. Accommodation services were provided for the safe employees of Governmental Agency of Gujarat who had to attend a training program organized by the central government. Now they had to attend a training program and it was there in the accommodation service, right? This is important. The total amount charged by the company for service was rupees 25 lakh. Now, what the two key points which we read in this paragraph was the accommodation service for the training program.
And the Governmental Agency of Gujarat. So we are providing services to Governmental Agency of Gujarat that can have an impact in the question. Let's see if any question is asked to that effect or not.
Yeah, during the month of January, Dum Limited supplied goods worth rupees 75 lakh through the company's e-commerce platform.
Now its e-commerce operations have come into the picture in the scenario.
Out of this supply, the goods amounting to rupees 15 lakh were returned in January. Further, the company also supplied its own products amounting to rupees 20 lakh through the e-commerce platform in said month. Amount of hotel accommodation service supplied through its e-commerce portal by hotel owners notes of section 22(1) amounted to rupees 20 lakh for the month of January. Then the company also completed a project for the construction of road taxable under GST for a governmental agency on 31st December. Total time taken for completion of project was more than 13 months as per the contract signed with such agency. The last tranche of payment of 25% of the total contract value was linked to the date of issuance of completion certificate.
So payment was linked to the date of issuance of completion certificate.
Completion certificate was issued by the government engineer on 15th of January. However, the invoice for such supply was issued on 5th Feb and payment was received on 20th Feb by the company.
Now you have got an idea of the case scenario. We have gone through case scenario once. Now we will be reading each and every question, but these questions we will be reading through our quizzes portal and we'll be reading these questions through quiz. So each and every question will be linked with some piece of information. The help which we are going to provide you is we'll display the relevant piece of information on the screen. And this quiz, okay, but then you have to open this, RTP somewhere else also, because once we go into the quiz mode, this information we will not be able to display. We'll show you the question. Let us read this particular paragraph. This much help we have to give you, otherwise it will become difficult for you to answer the question of the RTP. The company discontinued its operations in the state of Assam from 15th December. Now these dates you have to mark very carefully. The online application for cancellation of registration was furnished on 5th January. The registration was suspended from the same day. Okay, cancellation was the application was filed on 5th January. Suspension was also the suspension of registration was also on 5th January. Order for cancellation of registration was on 2nd January. And registration was cancelled with effect from a back date, that is 31st January. So these are the important dates. Now let us see the question which you would have already got on your device is this. I have stopped the timer because I wanted you to see the scenario as well as see the useful piece of information required for answering this question. Now, this is the question on your screen. In fact, 10 students have already answered this. That shows that you have gone through the scenario and now you have seen the question also. You have understood it. What is the due date for filing the final return in the state of Assam? Within 3 months from 5th January, within 3 months from 31st January, within 3 months from 2nd February, and within 3 months from 15th December. Now we'll once again come to the question. For all of you to see the question or have a glance at the question, and I will see the scorecard or the leaderboard after that, that how you have actually performed in that question. Because I think 11 students have answered, only one of you is left. So I hope that substantially covers all of you. And we will now see the leaderboard. Okay. So the leaderboard says Urmik is on the top and with the correct answer in the minimum possible time, actually. In fact, three students have answered it correctly. C. Many students marked the correct answer as option B. 5 students have marked it. 3 students have marked the correct answer, which is the within 3 months from 2nd February. And 3 students have marked option D, that is within 3 months from 5th December. Swati will explain the provision behind this, but let us see the leaderboard once again. Urmik, Shobhaji, Datta, and N. Mr. N, if you can write your full name or you can share with us, if you are there on Zoom portal, you can share your full name with us. So we'll be happy to know that who are you who have scored who have answered the question correctly and who is on the third place. So let us understand the provision behind this question.
The provisions of final return, if you talk about, they are governed by Section 45 of the CGST Act 2017. Section 45 says that every registered person who is required to furnish a return under Section 39(1) and whose registration has been cancelled. So that's why I focus on the word discontinued, cancelled, because if a person's registration has been cancelled, then they have to furnish a final return. And the tenure for the due date for filing final return is within 3 months of the date of cancellation or the date of order of cancellation, whichever is later, right? In our case, the date of cancellation was 2nd Feb and the date of order of cancellation is 2nd Feb and registration was cancelled with effect from
So effective date of cancellation is 31st January.
So 2nd Feb obviously is a later date. So within 3 months from the date of order of cancellation, that is,
so these are two relevant dates for
yes.
2nd February and 31st January, whichever is later. Now, what is later of the two is 2nd February. That is the date of order of cancellation of registration. And that is why this from 3 months from this date, the final return has to be furnished by the registered person.
Yes.
Let us see the relevant piece of information for the next question before we show the next question to you. We are helping you in this way so that you're able to participate. Our intention is to let you know the provisions and help you participate and not to get the wrong answers. We want all of you to answer correctly. So the next piece of information is this particular paragraph, and let us see. The company paid an amount of 5 lakh along with the tax to Rudraksh Enterprises, and this was pertaining to because of some dispute. So some disputed amount was there, and in December month of the current financial year, the company paid this amount. Now, the company had earlier reversed the ITC pertaining to this particular 5 lakh rupees, whatever ITC was there. The company had earlier reversed it in the because it could not pay the consideration and tax amount due to that dispute. That amount was disputed, so company did not pay the consideration as well as the tax amount. And in the current year, that dispute got resolved, and in the December month, that amount along with that tax due had been paid by the company. Now, invoice by the Rudraksh Enterprises was issued in the previous financial year because that amount pertained to previous financial year, and in the previous financial year, in the month of September itself, the Rudraksh Enterprises had issued the invoice, but the company did not pay the amount, the company did not pay the tax, and in this financial year, in December month, it paid the tax along with the consideration along with tax. Now, let us see the question pertaining to this particular information, which is there on your screen. Yes, we have to go to the next question. So let us go to the next question. Information we have already shown to you. Okay, this was the leaderboard for the previous question. Now this is the current question.
Yeah. As the facts which ma'am has shown you just now, this question is based upon those facts. Which of the following statements is correct in relation to the reavailment of the input tax credit that had been reversed earlier upon payment of disputed amount by the company to Rudraksh Enterprises? Option A, company could have reavailed the ITC only up to 30th November of the previous financial year. Option B, the company could have reavailed the ITC only up to 30th November of the current financial year. Option C, company could have reavailed the ITC only up to the end of the previous financial year. And option D is ITC can be reavailed without any time limit after making payment of disputed amount along with tax payable thereon to Rudraksh Enterprises.
You have full 1 minute to answer this question.
Yes.
Read the question once again and then answer it. And we will, in the meantime, show you the relevant piece of information because the question would have been there on your screen on your device, and relevant piece of information is here so that you can answer this question applying the relevant provision. We'll let you know how much time is left. 26 seconds are left. We once again came to the information which is required for answering this question. So now the countdown has begun, and I hope you are answering this question. In fact, a hint is there. It is related to somewhere reversal of ITC, but on account of non-payment of consideration and tax. So with this, we came to an end of the time which was available to all of you. 8 students could answer this question. We gave you 2 minutes time for this, which included the reading time also. But I think 2 minutes was sufficient time. Let us see how many of you have answered. 4 of you have answered it correctly. And let us go through the leaderboard also. So Urmik is again on the top, then Shobhaji Datta,
Mridul,
Mridul,
Leo, and then we have N.
So, Mr. N, you can tell us, or you can let us know your name also, because as we said that you should appear on this portal with your full name so that we can also get connected with you. Now, correct answer was option D, and that was marked by 4 students out of total 8 students. Now, Swati will explain the provision also behind this.
See, this is based upon the provisions of section 16(2), as it says that the registered person has to pay to the supplier the value of the goods along with the tax within 180 days from the date of issue of invoice. Now, if a registered person who has availed the ITC on any inward supplies, but he fails to pay to the supplier the value, whether wholly or in partial, along with tax within 180 days, within the prescribed time limit is 180 days from the date of issue of invoice. तो अगर किसी सप्लायर ने पे नहीं किया है पूरा अमाउंट या फिर पार्शियली अमाउंट नहीं दिया है 180 डेज के अंदर में, देन ही हैज टू रिवर्स द आईटीसी. He has to pay or reverse the amount equal to ITC which he had availed.
Question में दी हुई थी
ये सारी
that it had reversed the ITC related to supply received from Rudraksh due to non-payment of consideration and tax amount. थोड़ा सा tricky question हो गया ये, I can understand, but ये concept आप समझ लीजिए because ये concept if it comes in exam then you should be able to answer.
Yes.
Today if you are not able to answer that is not at all an issue. एग्जाम के लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट कॉन्सेप्ट है कि अगर पेमेंट आप 180 डेज के अंदर अपने सप्लायर को नहीं करते तो एज अ रिसिपिएंट यू हैव टू रिवर्स द आईटीसी बिकॉज आईटीसी तो आपने जैसे ही द मोमेंट यू रिसीव दी सर्विसेज और गुड्स देन यू टेक द आईटीसी on provisional basis और उसके बाद within 180 days you have to make the payment of tax as well as consideration to the supplier but नहीं की है तो फिर reversal करना है. रिवर्स करने के बाद now when you make the payment,
Yes, reverse कर दिया आपने, but even after reversal, you can pay to the supplier. So whenever the recipient pays to the supplier the amount, the value of the goods or the services along with the tax, then he is entitled to avail of the credit of ITC on the payment made to him of the amount towards the value of supply along with the tax payable thereon.
तो ऐसा नहीं है कि अगर आपने एक बार आईटीसी नहीं लिया, रिवर्स करना पड़ गया तो उसे पेमेंट ही नहीं करोगे सप्लायर को पेमेंट करनी पड़ेगी टैक्स के साथ। दोबारा आईटीसी लेना है तो करनी पड़ेगी, और नहीं तो फिर आपको झगड़े में पड़ना है तो झगड़े में पड़ी, पर टैक्स अमाउंट और कंसिडरेशन तब भी देनी पड़ेगी। आईटीसी
Yes.
के लिए भी जरूरी है और अदरवाइज भी आपके लिए जरूरी है।
Yes,
तो
to
लेकिन
avoid
जब
any
भी
sort
आप
of
करोगे,
penalty,
हाँ,
as we will
but
discuss
whenever
these
you
things.
make the payment, then you can avail ITC। उसके लिए कोई टाइम लिमिट नहीं है।
टाइम लिमिट नहीं है। सेक्शन 16 के अंदर देर इज नो टाइम लिमिट टू reclaim the credit in case of payment to the supplier where ITC was reversed earlier. Now इस क्वेश्चन में क्या था, इस क्वेश्चन में हमने पहले कुछ रजिस्टर्ड पर्सन ने कुछ जो वैल्यूज थी वो नहीं पे की थी, उसकी वजह से हमने आईटीसी जो है वो रिवर्स भी कर दिया। ये सारी बातें ऑलरेडी गिवन है फैक्ट्स ऑफ द केसेस में। नाउ द थिंग वाज कि कंपनी ने पे किया है 5 लाख रुपीस अलोंग विद द टैक्स टू सप्लाई रुद्राक्ष। सेटलमेंट ऑफ डिस्प्यूट की
मेन
वजह
वर्ड
से
वाज रीअवेलमेंट। जब
Yes.
आप व्हेन यू आर रीअवेलिंग द आईटीसी देयर इज नो टाइम लिमिट। अदरवाइज आपको पता है नेक्स्ट फाइनेंशियल ईयर की नवंबर 30 नवंबर तक यू कैन क्लेम द आईटीसी, उसके बाद आप क्लेम नहीं कर सकते। लेकिन अगर आप रीअवेल कर रहे हो ड्यू टू नॉन पेमेंट ऑफ कंसिडरेशन एंड टैक्स विद इन 180 डेज, देन देयर इज नो टाइम लिमिट। आप जब भी डिस्प्यूटेड अमाउंट पे करते हो, जो भी आपका अमाउंट सेटल होता है, आपने जब भी टैक्स अमाउंट पे किया, यू कैन क्लेम दी आईटीसी बेस्ड ऑन दैट। उसके लिए कोई रीअवेलमेंट के लिए टाइम लिमिट नहीं है। इसीलिए ये क्वेश्चन हमने टेस्ट किया था ताकि आपको ये पर्टिकुलर प्रोविजन समझ में आए। ठीक है, नाउ वी कम टू द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन, बट बिफोर दैट वील सी द रेलेवेंट इंफॉर्मेशन which is related to, which is given in this particular paragraph. Just see, I'm trying to cover this. Okay. The company provided accommodation services to Governmental Agency of Gujarat, registered under GST in Gujarat. Important point है. In its own hotel located in state of Rajasthan. So company's hotel is located in Rajasthan. It has provided accommodation services to Governmental Agency of Gujarat. Now this is an important information. The accommodation services were provided for stay of employees of the governmental agency who had to attend a training program organized by central government. Now, amount charged by the company for this service was 25 lakh. So, accommodation service was provided to governmental agency of Gujarat. The supplier which we are dealing with, or supplier is registered in all the states where he is providing these services. Okay. So you have to see, and the location of property, location of hotel is also Gujarat. Oh, sorry, Rajasthan. Location of hotel is Rajasthan. So there are three pieces of information which are important. Supply किसको किया है? Governmental agency को. होटल कहाँ लोकेटेड है? राजस्थान में। और हमारा जो सप्लायर है वो हर उस स्टेट में रजिस्टर्ड है जहां वो सप्लाई करता है, तो वो राजस्थान में भी रजिस्टर्ड होगा, बिकॉज दिस इंफॉर्मेशन इज गिवन एट इन द बिगिनिंग इटसेल्फ। Accommodation services गवर्नमेंटल एजेंसी ने अपने एम्प्लॉइज के लिए ली है और अमाउंट जो है वो 25 लाख है। आई थिंक इनफ explanation we have given you regarding this piece of information. Now we come to the related question. So all of you please gear up and now answer this question based on this provision. Hope all of you have your calculators ready with you, because यहाँ पे थोड़ा सा computation in questions में चाहिए हो सकता है आपको।
So the next question is the amount of tax to be deducted at source under GST law by governmental agency of Gujarat is IGST rupees 25,000, CGST 12,500 and SGST rupees 12,500, nil or IGST rupees 50,000.
In fact, we have given more than 2 minutes to you for this particular
Yes.
question. आप computation करनी है, जो भी कुछ आपको करना है, so that you get sufficient time to understand the concept and apply it in this question. And now we'll come to the relevant piece of information which is required for answering this question. आपको TDS compute करना है, which governmental agency of Gujarat will deduct, because supply किसको की जा रही है? Governmental agency. Now this is the relevant piece of information. So all of you, even if you don't answer correctly, try to answer it so that you can understand the concept. At least इस पूरे सेशन के बाद you will be able to understand the unique or the different concepts which have been tested in RTP to make you prepared for the forthcoming examination. Want to see the question again? Though question will be there on your screen. So in fact, 22 students have joined us, but answer has been provided by lesser number of students. Once again, you can see the relevant piece of information on your screen so that you can answer it. This is the relevant piece of information. This much help we are giving you, that the accommodation services have been provided to Governmental Agency of Gujarat in the hotel which company has owned, and hotel is located in the state of Rajasthan. Amount of consideration is rupees 25 lakhs. You have to ascertain whether TDS has to be deducted or not, and if it has to be deducted, whether it will be a CGST, SGST, or it will be an IGST TDS, or what will be the amount of TDS which has to be deducted.
TDS and TCS provisions have been, introduced in the new scheme only for the intermediate students. So please pay special focus and attention to these newly introduced.
This is an important point.
Like pace of supply, counts and records, TDS and TCS, these are introduced for the first time.
So time is running short now, time up. So 6 students could answer this. Okay. And on the leaderboard, we have Shubhaji Datta on the top, then Leo Xavier. So Leo, you joined our quiz. Then we have Urmik, Khushi, Mridul, Kivanshu, and then N is there. So let us see that how many students have answered this particular question correctly. 4 students have answered it correctly out of all the students who have joined. This shows that these questions have some tricky point in them, and you are actually you need to gear up with these provisions. You need to brush up these provisions. We can come up with these kind of quizzes, or further more quizzes we can come up such type of quizzes, but you need to first of all revise all your concepts. So this session was specially for revision purpose, for gearing up you for the revision and knowing the special concepts. Let us see the provision once again. Question says, what is the amount of TDS which governmental agency has to deduct? Because governmental agency is receiving the services, so it will pay the consideration to company, that is Sambhav Limited, and while making the payment, it has to keep some amount as TDS, because whenever a governmental agency receives any services from any supplier, this is an obligation cast by Section 51 of the CGST Act, that the amount of TDS, 1% CGST, 1% SGST, or 2% IGST has to be deducted by the governmental agency, state government, central government, local authority. Now here we have the governmental agency. It has to deduct 1% CGST, 1% SGST, or IGST 2%. Now that we have to see what is the nature of service which is, or nature of supply which is being provided in this question. Yes, Swati, you want to add something to it?
No. That's what yes, governmental agencies there. So TDS provisions involved.
That you should be able to identify in the first
instance. I was focusing on it's a governmental agency. While reading the facts of the case, you may just mark the things which you feel that yes, some question may be asked on these provisions.
It could be a possibility.
But all provisions got worked in this. So this is the case of governmental agency, and TDS provisions are attracted. And as we know that CGST, SGST, or whether we have to calculate IGST on it. So to calculate any of such tax, basically first of all you need to determine the place of supply.
Yes, and for place of supply. Now, if you see, this is a service where you need to, it is related to to the property, to the immovable property, because accommodation service is related to an immovable property. And as per Section 12, the place of supply of any service which is related to an immovable property is the location of that property. Now, here the location of property is Rajasthan. So, place of supply is Rajasthan. Plus, whether TDS has to be deducted. Now, next question comes, whether TDS has to be deducted at all or not. First point is that the consideration, the value of supply, excluding GST, should be more than 2,50,000. Now here it's 25 lakhs, so way ahead. So that is not an issue. The value of supply is quite high than the cutoff or the threshold limit. But then there is a proviso to Section 51 which provides that no deduction of TDS shall be made in case the location of supplier. Now here the location of supplier is the Rajasthan, because I told you that he has his property in Rajasthan. He would have taken registration in Rajasthan also. He's registered in all the states from where he's making the supply. So location of supplier is Rajasthan. Place of supply, as we saw, the location of property, and that is Rajasthan. So place of supply is also Rajasthan. So location of supplier and place of supply is in Rajasthan, whereas the location of recipient, that is the governmental agency, is in Gujarat. So this proviso says that where the location of supplier and place of supply is in one state, that is Rajasthan, which is in the R case, and the location of recipient is in another state, which is Gujarat in this case, then in that case, TDS will not be deducted. So the question of CGST, SGST, IGST while deducting TDS does not arise at all. And if you see our question, in our question, we have taken two IGST amounts. Different rates are taken. One at one place we have taken 2%. Here we have taken 1%. Then here also we have taken 0.5% each for CGST, SGST. Rates are wrong. That is a different thing. But TDS is not at all required or liable to be deducted because location of supplier and place of supply. Location of supplier is Rajasthan. Place of supply is also Rajasthan, is in one state. And the location of recipient, governmental agency of Gujarat is the recipient, and its place location is Gujarat. So that is located in another state. And therefore, this proviso will get attracted, which provides that TDS is not required to be deducted. This is a very important point. It can come in descriptive question also. And this is actually a very good point to know. So I hope with this question, you all would have learned a new point today. And so even if you are able to answer it correctly or not, that does not matter. At least you have learned something new today. That you should be happy about. So before we proceed to next question, I'm going to come to the relevant piece of information which says, during the month of January, Dum Dum Limited, it is a supplier which supplied goods worth rupees 75 lakhs through the company, that is Sambhav Limited, through this company's e-commerce platform. So this is a supplier who has supplied goods worth rupees 75 lakh through its e-commerce platform. Out of this supply, goods amounting to 15 lakh were returned. So they supplied 75 lakh goods, out of which 15 lakhs were returned. Company supplied its own products amounting to rupees 2 lakh through its e-commerce portal. अपने पोर्टल से इसने 20 लाख के गुड्स खुद के सप्लाई कर दिए, वहां कोई और सप्लायर इन्वॉल्व नहीं था. And the third is the amount of hotel accommodation services supplied through this e-commerce portal by hotel owners not required to obtain registration. अब hotel accommodation services कुछ और भी ऐसे hotel owners थे जिन्होंने supply की, who have now are these other services which we have discussed. First of all, it supplied goods, 75 lakh goods, 15 lakh were returned. Then it supplied some products on its own account. And third came the services of accommodation provided by the hotel owners, which amounted to rupees 20 lakhs. So तीन तरह की supplies हो गई इसके e-commerce portal से. Third वाली supply में एक point जो इन्होंने बताया, maybe it is relevant, maybe it is not relevant. You have to decide that these hotel owners were not required to obtain registration under GST. इन द मंथ ऑफ जनवरी सारी ट्रांजेक्शन जनवरी में हुई. तीन तरह की ट्रांजेक्शन, गुड सप्लाई हुए, कुछ सप्लायर्स ने गुड सप्लाई किए 75 लाख के, 15 लाख के उनके रिटर्न हो गए गुड्स. सेकंड, कंपनी ने अपने ही अकाउंट से 20 लाख के प्रोडक्ट्स सप्लाई किए, यानी अपने प्रोडक्ट्स अपने ई कॉमर्स पोर्टल पे डिस्प्ले किए और वो 20 लाख के गुड्स जो प्रोडक्ट्स है वो सेल हो गए. तीसरा, कुछ होटल ओनर्स ने होटल अकोमोडेशन सर्विसेज इसके पोर्टल से सप्लाई की, जो कि वो होटल ओनर्स दे वर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू ऑब्टेन रजिस्ट्रेशन अंडर जीएसटी. नाउ वी कम टू द क्वेश्चन रिलेटिंग टू दिस इंफॉर्मेशन, एंड आई होप क्वेश्चन आप वैसे गेस कर चुके होंगे क्या होगा, बट यू हैव टू कंप्यूट दैट अमाउंट एंड सी द लेट्स सी द क्वेश्चन एटलीस्ट, देन यू शुड बी नोइंग कि क्वेश्चन होगा क्या वैसे, एंड वील गिव यू एम्पल टाइम टू सॉल्व दिस बिकॉज ये थोड़ा सा ट्रिकी क्वेश्चन है, इसमें थोड़ी कंप्यूटेशन भी इन्वॉल्व है. The amount of tax to be collected at source by the company under GST law during January. इसमें आपको CGST, SGST कुछ नहीं निकालना, सिर्फ वो टोटल अमाउंट निकालना है CGST और TCS का. The amount of TCS which company has to collect. अब हम फिर से उस इंफॉर्मेशन पे जा रहे हैं which is relevant for solving this particular question. कंपनी ने 3 तरह की सप्लाईज कंपनी के ई-कॉमर्स पोर्टल से हुई, एक कंपनी ने खुद की, एक गुड्स की सप्लाई हुई 75 lakhs की जिसमें 15 lakhs रिटर्न हो गए, और एक होटल ओनर्स ने एकोमोडेशन सर्विस प्रोवाइड की है 20 lakhs की, लेकिन ये होटल ओनर्स वर नॉट रिक्वायर्ड टू ऑब्टेन रजिस्ट्रेशन अंडर जीएसटी. So we request students to participate and to compute this particular TCS amount. इस क्वेश्चन से आपके टीसीएस के सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर हो जाएंगे अगर आपने ये पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन कर लिया तो. और इनफैक्ट सारे क्वेश्चन ही इसी तरीके के हैं कि आपके टीडीएस वाले क्वेश्चन से आपके टीडीएस के सारे प्रोविजन कॉन्सेप्ट्स क्लियर हो गए. वन क्वेश्चन इटसेल्फ क्लियर्ड ऑल दी कॉन्सेप्ट्स. इसमें
आपको
भी
बड़े
ऐसे
ध्यान से पढ़ना की क्वेश्चन की रिक्वायरमेंट क्या है. टीसीएस का अमाउंट पूछ रहा है या वैल्यू पूछ रही है ऑन विच टीसीएस शैल बी कैलकुलेटेड. Right here, what is asked is amount of tax to be collected at source. It is not the value on which TCS shall be levied. So यहाँ पर आपको TCS का अमाउंट निकालना है. अब TCS किस चीज के ऊपर लगता है? Let me help you. TCS लगता है नेट वैल्यू ऑफ टैक्सेबल सप्लाईज के ऊपर. अब वो क्या होती है that you calculate yourself.
Shubhaji, don't write it in. You are writing it to us. That is good. Mark it this answer in the portal also. I think the person who has marked the answer. I think it's you or maybe some other person. But ये question अगर आपने सही कर लिया तो you'll be able to understand the concept clearly. And you have to take the amended rate of TCS here. TCS का रेट अमेंड हुआ है, आपको पता होना चाहिए. इसमें आपकी अमेंडमेंट भी टेस्ट हो गई है, इसके अंदर आपके TCS के सारे कॉन्सेप्ट्स टेस्ट हो गए हैं. You have till 35 seconds to answer this question. Only 4 students have answered. I think थोड़ा tricky हो गए हैं ये questions, but you be assured ये सारे questions करने के बाद आपके वो वाले सारे chapters revise हो रहे हैं. TDS के सारे concepts जो significant थे we have revised for computation of TDS. TCS के सारे concepts इससे revise हो जाएंगे once we come to the answer. Now once I will explain you the concept, you will be understanding that yes, all concepts relating to TCS are cleared or you have understood. So nevertheless, whether you answer correctly or not, at least try to answer. Last few seconds and time is over. So 6 students answered this. Okay, and on the leaderboard, we have Shubhajit, Urmik, Leo, then Hiten. Oh, Hiten is a new entry. So Hiten, you have also answered correctly. Kushi, then we have Mridul, Kyutan. Your name is a bit difficult for me to pronounce. Kyuvanshu, then N. So these are the students who are there on the leaderboard. Let us see. So 6 students answered this question and 3 have answered it correctly. At least those who have tried, half of them are able to answer it correctly. And I'm happy to see this much number also because this question was actually a difficult and complex question because I told you it helps you in understanding all the concepts of TCS. First of all, let me tell you the concept of TCS. Section 52 provides you that every electronic commerce operator is liable to collect tax at source from in case a supplier supplies goods or services through its portal. I'm telling you it in simple words. At the rate of 0.5% IGST or 0.25% CGST, 2.25% SGST. Now rate will be 0.5% or 0.25% each. Then
this is an amendment.
This is an amended rate. This rate was amended recently. And on what value it has to deduct? On net value of taxable supplies.
So Subhojit is also asking, ma'am, amended wala rate lena hai na?
Yes. Gave him a hint also and he has answered correctly. Yeah. Subhojit, that is good. That is why you are there on the top of the leaderboard. So 0.5% it has to be deducted. Now what will be value? Net value of taxable supplies. Now what is net value of taxable supplies in case of the TCS provisions? The whatever supplies, whatever sales you have made minus the returns. So whoever who has suppliers who have supplied their goods or services through your portal, through the ECO portal, they have to deduct they have to collect TCS at the prescribed rate from the net value of taxable supplies. So first of all, we'll take one by one each of the transaction. First transaction was supply of goods, which was made by the Dum Dum Limited 75 lakhs was the sale value and 15 lakh was the return. So as I already told you, net value of taxable supplies means sale minus returns. So 75 lakhs minus 15 lakhs, 60 lakhs will be your net value of taxable supplies on which TCS will be collected in this particular transaction. We have two more ECO transactions. Second transaction is company also supplied its own products amounting to 20 lakhs through its portal, e-commerce portal. Now, this is a taxable supply, but TCS will not be collected on this particular transaction because company is supplying this on its own account. Whereas on the TCS provision say supplier, some other supplier is making a supply through your portal, then while paying the consideration, because consideration is received by ECO, ECO receives the entire consideration for the supply transaction and then it disburses that consideration to the supplier. So while giving the consideration to the supplier, it keeps the TCS amount with itself, it collects TCS from that, and remaining amount it pays to the supplier. In this case, ECO is making supply on its own account. So it is not collecting consideration from any other supplier. It is making this supply on its own account, not liable to TCS at all. This is another concept we have learned about TCS that some supplier, कोई और supplier आपके ECO portal से supply करेगा तभी आपको TCS collect करना है. तीसरा
through your own portal, that is very important. Through your
आप अपने पोर्टल से खुद ही अपने गुड्स सप्लाई कर रहे हो, टीसीएस सप्लाई नहीं होगा. सम अदर पर्सन, सम सप्लायर्स हैव टू सप्लाई गुड्स. Third transaction was amount of hotel accommodation services supplied through its e-commerce portal, जहां पे होटल ओनर्स वर नॉट लाइबल टू रजिस्टर. नाउ इसमें एक और पॉइंट था जो अभी मैंने आपको टीसीएस का नहीं बताया था, दैट आई विल टेल यू रिलेटिंग टू दिस पॉइंट. दैट इज the services which are notified under section 9(5) of the CGST Act. वो services जहां पे notify किया गया है 9(5) में कि इस केसेस में ECO has to pay tax. 9(5) में आपको पता है कि बहुत सारी सर्विसेज ऐसी हैं और सिर्फ सर्विसेज हैं, गुड्स नहीं है. पहली बात, वो सर्विसेज जिन पे टैक्स ECO पे करेगा, जैसे आपकी अकोमोडेशन सर्विस है, रेंट अ कैब सर्विस है, हाउस कीपिंग की सर्विस है, देन यू हैव द रेस्टोरेंट सर्विस. So and you have the transportation of passengers by omnibus, by in case of a company. वो जो 5-6 सर्विसेज जो नोटिफाइड है, अगर उनमें से कोई सर्विस है, then in that case TCS is not liable to be collected. 9(5) वाली सर्विसेज पे भी TCS कलेक्ट नहीं होता. क्यों कलेक्ट नहीं होता? क्योंकि मैं TCS का कॉन्सेप्ट क्या है कि मेरे थ्रू किसी ने गुड्स सप्लाई किए, सर्विसेज सप्लाई की, मैंने कंसिडरेशन लिया और उनको दे दिया और टैक्स का सिर्फ 0.5% मैंने अपने पास रखा, बाकी टैक्स द सप्लायर इज गोइंग टू पे. जबकि 9(5) वाली सर्विसेज में क्या होता है, 9(5) वाली सर्विसेज में द एंटायर टैक्स इज पेड बाय द ECO इटसेल्फ. तो वो 5%, 0.5% रखने का कॉन्सेप्ट ही अप्लाई नहीं होगा. द होल अमाउंट ऑफ टैक्सेस टू बी पेड बाय द ECO. नाउ इन केस ऑफ द अकोमोडेशन सर्विस एक नोटिफाइड सर्विस है सेक्शन 9(5) की, और उसमें वो अकोमोडेशन सर्विस पे 9(5) में तभी हम नोटिफाइड सर्विस मानेंगे जब आपका जो होटल ओनर है, इट शुड नॉट बी लायबल टू बी रजिस्टर्ड. It should not, the hotel owner is not liable to be registered. और यहाँ पर वो कंडीशन फुलफिल हो रही है. Had this hotel owner been registered, तो ये 9(5) से बाहर आ जाती है सर्विस और इस पे भी TCS कलेक्ट होता है और होटल ओनर खुद से टैक्स पे करते. बट क्योंकि होटल ओनर इज नॉट लाइबल टू बी रजिस्टर्ड, तो होटल ओनर तो टैक्स पे करेगा नहीं. गवर्नमेंट हैज पुट दिस लाइबिलिटी ऑन ECO कि ECO को ही पूरा टैक्स पे करना है और इसीलिए ECO को TCS उस पर कलेक्ट नहीं करना. So the amount on which TCS will be collected is only rupees 60 lakhs, that is 75 minus 15 lakhs. बाकी किसी भी अमाउंट पे TCS नहीं करेगा. और जो हमने शुरू में निकाला था, that is 60 lakhs. 60 lakhs का 0.5% will be 30,000 and that is the correct amount of TCS which has to be collected by the company in this case. Hope this clarifies your doubt or this clarifies this concept to you. Let us move to next question because we want to cover more of it. In fact, let's stop the timer because this question I forgot. I have to show you the relevant point also.
Yeah.
So I forgot to show you the relevant information, but still we'll not have any timer for this question. Let us see the information. Company completed a project for construction of road taxable under GST. अभी एक taxable construction road का company को project मिला. Government agency. See, again here government agency is there. Let us see whether it has any connection with our question. For a government agency on 31st December. So company को एक project करना था road construction का 31st December तक complete करना था. Total time taken to complete the project was more than 13 months. And as per contract signed with such agency, the last tranche of payment of 25% of total contract value was linked to the date of issuance of completion certificate. यानी कि last tranche payment का last जो portion है installment तब मिलेगा जब आपका पेमेंट जो है वो रिसीव हो, जब आपकी इशुएंस कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो जाएगा उस डेट पे. कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट किस दिन इशू हुआ? 15 जनवरी को.
ने दिया वो,
गवर्नमेंट इंजीनियर ने दिया होना चाहिए. वो किस दिन इशू हुआ? 15 जनवरी को. लेकिन इनवॉइस एक्चुअली में इशू हुई 5 फरवरी को एंड द पेमेंट वाज रिसीव्ड ऑन 20th फरवरी. तो जब वो कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट इशू हो गया उसके बाद इनवॉइस इशू हुई 5 फरवरी को और पेमेंट उसके बाद 20th फरवरी को हो गई. अब क्वेश्चन क्या कहता है? Question is, what is the last date for issuance of invoice in relation to construction of road by the company for the last tranche of payment received? Company को किस time तक payment कर देनी थी? The last time or last date by which company should have made the payment. Oh, sorry, company should have issued the invoice for the payment. ये जो last tranche of payment थी 25% पूरे contract value की जो उसको pay करनी थी, वो उसने pay किया. कब पे किया? जब उसको इंजीनियर से गो हेड आ गया कि हाँ भाई आपका कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट मिल गया है. यही हमारा वो इवेंट था जिसके लिए हमने बोला कि कॉन्ट्रैक्ट वैल्यू में बोला गया था कि 25% पैसे तभी मिलेंगे जब आपका इंजीनियर वो सर्टिफिकेट इशू कर देगा. अब इस कॉन्ट्रैक्ट के अंदर आपको इनवॉइस कब तक इशू कर देनी चाहिए थी? जो हमारी कंपनी है उसने 5 फरवरी को इशू किया, लेकिन कब तक वो इनवॉइस वैल्यू इशू हो, मतलब वो इशू हो जानी चाहिए थी आपकी इनवॉइस बेसिकली.
We have 4 options: 31st December, 15 Jan, 5th Feb और 20th Feb.
एटलीस्ट आप कुछ ऑप्शन सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. आई नो क्वेश्चन थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है ये, बट
see, if you will select the question, you will more together appreciate the reason. Even if you were wrong, that doesn't matter, but your answer will, that the correct reasoning and the correct answer will get registered in your mind more only when you will solve it. Because sometimes when we commit mistake, we learn more. Yes. We learn more from our mistakes we commit. So it's bad. It's always advisable not to, better to, go with the wrong answer than to not attempt any at all.
कभी कभी गलती करके भी हम जल्दी सीखते हैं, तो आप आंसर मार्क कीजिए. गलत भी होगा तो यू विल लर्न समथिंग. गवर्नमेंट एजेंसी ने हमें कॉन्ट्रैक्ट दिया फॉर कंस्ट्रक्शन ऑफ रोड. 31 दिसंबर तक हमें कंप्लीट कर देना था, लेकिन एक्चुअल में कंप्लीशन का सर्टिफिकेट मिला हमें 15 जनवरी को. इनवॉइस इशू हुई 5 फरवरी को और पेमेंट जो मिलनी थी, जो लिंक थी इस पर्टिकुलर से इवेंट से ऑफ इशुएंस ऑफ कंप्लीशन सर्टिफिकेट, वो पेमेंट हमें मिली 20th फरवरी को. तो इनवॉइस इशू करने की लास्ट डेट क्या थी? I think we have given sufficient time for this question. 4 students have answered. Let's give 10 more seconds because I'm finding that students are still marking the answers. So let us come to the information once again. We'll give you 10 to 15 more seconds so that those of you who want to attempt this question, they should get a fair chance. Time is not an issue. Marking correct answer is not not an indication of your preparation. What is indication of your preparation or your zeal is that you are actually marking the answers and learning the concept. Concept समझना ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है actually.
We want to take the compulsory question which we get in the examination.
So after that we take that first question which comes in the examination, and it is the 6th question of our RTP. Yeah. So we'll see the answers.
Yeah, let's see.
In fact, one answer Kyuntvasu Mayana has given. Okay. Yes, you are right here. Invoice last date is the date which you have mentioned in the first. Mayana.
So let us see the answer.
Let us see the correct answer and the leaderboard also.
All done.
So on the leaderboard, we have on the top as Shubhajit again.
Followed by Leo, Urmik, Mridul.
And then we have Hiten, Khushi, and Kyuntvasu, and Kinnari. Okay, Kinnari has not answered, but you can still attempt the question. And I hope you will be answering. You will be attempting the questions.
See, the right answer in this case is option B. Option B is 15th Jan. See, now RTP option B has mistakenly, printed as A.
Actually, so there is a typographical error. 2 options have been marked as A. 31st December as well as 15th January. But the correct answer is 15th January. Option we have marked as option A. But the correct answer is 15th January. So all of you can please take a note of this. And As per the provision also, this would be the answer because it is a case of the continuous supply of service. As per section 31, the provision will apply.
Yes, in case of continuous supply of services, as per section 31, subsection 5, clause C, the due date, whenever the due date is linked to an event, the time of supply shall be on or before the completion of that event. In the given case, the completion of event is issuance of certificate by the engineer and which takes place on January 15th. This is the reason that the last date for issuance of invoice is 15th of January.
Because this was the event with which that payment was linked, and therefore that event will be the date on which the invoice should have been issued. Though invoice has been issued on 5th February, which is not correct. Please mark this answer that 15th January is the correct answer. Now, after this, we'll start with the first descriptive question of our RTP. That is question number 6. And we'll quickly take it, that question, so that you can solve that question also with us and understand the concept which we want you to know in this.
You can also open the RTP from BOS knowledge portal.
If possible, it would be helpful for you because you will be getting the relevant information. Here, the first information, first sentence, which is important. And here also, one information which is to be made is, or which has to be added, one clarificatory information which is to be added here is Surya is engaged in providing a bouquet of goods and services. And Surya, these services include service of renting of cars.
That we have already included in the soft copy, which has been hosted on the website.
The copy which is hosted on the website will soon have it. Maybe it is taking some time to get updated because these are technical issues. But this service which he is providing, it includes service of renting of cars. Now, this information I think can have some repercussion in any of the questions that we will see later on. We'll not tell you, but we will discuss each and every supply, whether inward or outward, which are given in this table one by one. We have questions relating to them. So we want you to have just a glance that some supplies, inward and outward supplies as a whole, have been given in this question. Then some information is given regarding what are the rates which are applicable. All the amounts given are exclusive of taxes. We are telling you the relevant information which you will be requiring. All amounts are exclusive of taxes wherever it is applicable. No opening balance of ITC is there. Now, from this information, you have to compute the minimum net GST liability. Okay, that is payable in cash. So let us see the question. Now, first, and in fact, in this question, we have almost, how many supplies are there?
We have got 8 supplies.
8 supplies are there. Okay.
8 transactions are there. Now you yourself have to determine
inward
whether
or
these
outward.
are outward.
One of the questions we have asked just to make you this concept clear. And let us see. So this question you would be having, he has organized a business. We'll quickly go through 5 transactions because we want to ask one question regarding this. He has organized a business exhibition in Gujarat. He has provided accommodation services to CA students. Then Surya. So Surya, you know that he is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. This is also an important piece of information you will require in every question. He is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan, and he is providing services and goods. Services include service of renting of cars also. Now, he organized business exhibition in Gujarat. He provided accommodation services. He performed Carnatic music to promote a brand of ready-made garments. Then he provided intrastate services as a business correspondent of Money Bank. And he rented a commercial property in Jaipur, Rajasthan to Ganga Limited. He sponsored a business summit organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan by Associated Chamber of Commerce. These 6 transactions we have elaborated, out of which 5 we are going to test in our next question. So let us move to our next question, which will not require now this table. You will be able to answer it with the question itself. So next question is there on your screen now. Which of the given activities or transactions in question 6 are not outward supplies? They are not outward supplies. That means they are inward supplies. So which of the given activity or transaction is an inward supply? We have 5 transactions. Organizing business exhibition, providing accommodation services to students, performing Carnatic music to promote a brand, renting of commercial property in Jaipur, and sponsoring of business summit organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan, for which the Surya has paid the sponsorship fee. This is what was provided in our question. You have more than 1 minute to answer this. In fact, you can see he has sponsored the business summit and he had paid the sponsorship fee. He has rented out the commercial property in Jaipur to Ganga Limited and who is a supplier of goods and services in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. And rest of the services or goods, whatever he has supplied, whatever services, whatever supplies he has made, the information is there in the question and in this MCQ also. So we want all of you to answer this. Which of these supplies is an inward supply? He is organizing a business exhibition. He is providing accommodation service. He is performing Carnatic music. Then he is renting out the commercial property, his commercial property in Jaipur. Some of his commercial property is located in Jaipur. He is renting it out. And he is sponsoring business summit, which is organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan. And he is paying sponsorship fee for that sponsorship event, for that business summit. He is sponsoring it. Very few answers in this question, and though we were expecting lot many answers in this because this is comparatively an easier question.
Yes, the most easy question because.
Okay, so time is up. We got 3 answers for this. And on the leaderboard, we have on the top again Shubhajit, but I don't think any score has increased for him. Let's see. Shubhajit on the top. Shubhajit, we want to know whether you have answered it correctly or not. Then Leo, Urme, Khushi, Mridul, Hiten, and
only
then
2 students have correctly replied.
And one who has said organizing a business exhibition. Okay. So when you're organizing a business exhibition, you are actually providing the service. It is not a receipt of service. You are organizing business exhibition. You are conducting a business exhibition for someone. Then you are actually providing that service to that person and you are receiving consideration from him. In this question, intentionally, we have not given any bifurcation of outward and inward supplies because you can clearly make out the services which have been provided. When we say accommodation services provided, that is very clear. Perform Carnatic music. Now, when you are performing the Carnatic music, you are not receiving any services. You are giving the service to a garment business, the brand ambassador or brand owner of garment business, that is Wrigley Garments. This is very clear. Interest rate services provided. Then you are renting out your commercial property. Again, you are giving services. Only, the catch was the sponsorship service. Time and again, we explain this in our class that sponsorship service, they have a bit of different, concept that in case of sponsorship service, one who is sponsoring the event, one who is paying the sponsorship is the recipient, and the person who is organizing that event, which is being sponsored, is the supplier. This question also we'll have subsequently, but we want all of you to learn this concept so that you can answer subsequent question, which we will be asking. So let us move to the next question so that we can quickly finish this question and we can understand the nuances which are included in this question. So next question, which is there on your screen, and it will be relating to this first point. Organized a business exhibition. Surya organized a business exhibition in Gujarat for Jignesh Industries, which is registered in Surat, Gujarat. And Surya is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. So this you have to remember that Surya is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Okay.
By this manner, we will solve each and every entry of this question separately, independently. Then you won't have any issue in solving the question in total.
So let us start with the next question. This question will help you in understanding sixth question in a comprehensive manner.
Yes. So the next question is Surya organize a business exhibition. Surya is located in
Jaipur, Rajasthan.
Surya organized a business exhibition in Gujarat for Jignesh Industries registered in Surat, Gujarat for an amount of rupees 20,000. So now you have to tell whether the transaction is an exempt or taxable one. And if it is taxable, then what is the place of supply and the nature of supply? Option A, exempt supply. If it is an exempt supply, then we don't need to calculate the place of supply and the nature of supply. B, taxable supply. Place of supply is Gujarat and it is an interstate. C, taxable supply. Place of supply is Rajasthan, intrastate. D, taxable supply. Place of supply is Rajasthan and interstate.
You have 50 more seconds to answer this question. The last 24 seconds, 20 seconds to answer this question. We are still receiving the answers. You have to answer whether it is exempt or taxable, and if it is taxable, place of supply and nature of supply. This is what is required while answering this question also. So time is up. Let us see how you have performed in this question. So on the leaderboard, on top we have Subhajit, then Leo, Kushi, and then Urmik, Mridul, Hiten. So the correct answer is taxable supply. Place of supply is Gujarat, and it is an interstate supply. So
Yes,
at least we are happy. None of you have mentioned it as an exempt supply. This much concept is clear to you. Some mistake is there in the place. Okay, nobody has answered that also.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
all who have answered
Have answered the correct.
yeah, it's good to notice that all of you have answered correctly. All who have at least answered, their answer is correct.
And all those who have not answered, let's understand the reason behind why it is taxable. See, it is taxable because services provided by an organizer to any person in respect of a business exhibition is exempt only when such exhibition is held outside India. And in our case, business exhibition is held in Gujarat, so it is not an exempt supply. This is a taxable supply. Now coming to the place of supply. Place of supply of organization of a cultural, artistic, sportic, scientific, artistic, and this entertainment event, including supply in relation to an exhibition to a registered person, is the location of recipient. So the place of supply in this case is a Gujarat.
That is the location of Jignesh Industries, who is the recipient. So location of recipient is the place of supply.
Location of, and since the location of supplier and the place of supply is in one state, that is is in different state. That is why it is an interstate supply.
Location of supplier is Rajasthan, Jaipur, Rajasthan. We know that Surya is from Jaipur, Rajasthan, and place of supply is Gujarat, so it makes it an interstate supply. Let us move to the next question, and that covers an exemption. In fact, this also covered an exemption in a way. You have understood that exemption, though it is not applicable. Next question is there on your screen pertaining to question number 6, descriptive question.
Surya has provided accommodation services for rupees 2,20,000 to 10 CA students, originally from outside Rajasthan in a hostel, Surya Homes, located in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Charges per student per month are rupees 22,000 and minimum stay period which has been agreed is 4 months. Whether the transaction is exempt or taxable, and if taxable, then what is the place of supply and the nature of supply. A, an exempt supply. B, taxable. Gujarat is a place of supply, interstate in C, taxable supply, Jaipur is a place of supply, Rajasthan, and intrastate D, taxable supply, place of residence of students outside Rajasthan
This
is a
is the
place of supply, and the nature is interstate. So
first of all, you have to see whether it is exempt or taxable. You have to check the information. What are the charges per student per month, period of stay? Then, so per student charges are 22,000. Period of stay, minimum period of stay is 4 months. And if it is taxable, if it is exempt, then it's okay. If it is not exempt, then what will be place of supply and what will be the nature. After place of supply, nature of supply can be determined. In fact, in next questions, we'll be having fewer requirements because I think it becomes difficult when we have more requirements. Though we'll be giving you more than 2 minutes for this question, you can easily, or you can, you know, take your time and solve this question and then mark your option because you still have 1.5 minutes to answer this question. One minute left for answering the question. Last 40 seconds. You need to apply the concept. Exemption entry will be tested. Place of supply provisions will be tested in this particular question. And the nature of supply has to be determined based on that. Six students have marked the answer. Let us see what is your performance after this question. So time is up. So on the leaderboard, we have Leo on the top now, Kushi, Urmik, Mridul, and then we have Subhajit, Hitain, and V. So the correct answer here is taxable supply. The place of supply is Jaipur, Rajasthan, and therefore it is an intrastate transaction. Why it is a taxable supply? Because the let us come to the full question view. Because the supplies, in case we have provided accommodation services to where the value of supply is up to rupees 20,000. In fact, in revision test paper, you will see that uh, in the description, at one place, exceeding word is written, read it as up to in the first sentence, in the first line. So when the value of supply is up to rupees 20,000 per person per month, value is per person per month. So here also the value per student per month is 22,000. Now that is exceeding 20,000. Though condition was that it should be up to 20,000, then that accommodation services will be exempt. In fact, minimum period of stay should be 90 days in that case. Here, the minimum period of stay is 4 months. So that condition is being met. But the condition of the threshold limit of the value of supply, that is 20,000, that has been exceeded. Therefore, it becomes a taxable supply. Now, so exemption is not there. First option is not correct. Now comes the place of supply. Now, again, accommodation services, as we discussed, the place of supply is determined as per the location where the property is located. Now, here the property is located in Jaipur, Rajasthan, and therefore the place of supply becomes the Jaipur, Rajasthan, and not the place where each of the students is located. So that is why we have given this option to confuse you and to tell you this concept that the place of residence of students is immaterial in case of the accommodation services. The place of location of immovable property is relevant, and that is the place of supply. Now, since location of supplier is in Rajasthan, place of supply is in Rajasthan, therefore this becomes an intrastate supply. Let's move to the next question so that we can quickly cover this entire question. Okay. So next question is there on your screen.
Surya has performed the Carnatic music to promote a brand of ready-made garments, Wrigley Garments, registered in Udaipur, Rajasthan, for rupees 1,45,000. Whether the transaction is exempt or taxable, and if it is taxable, then what is the place of supply? Exempt supply since consideration for classical music performance does not exceed rupees 1,50,000. B. Taxable supply Jaipur, Rajasthan. C. Taxable supply Udaipur, Rajasthan. D. Exempt supply since classical music performance as brand ambassador is always exempt, irrespective of the consideration.
So two reasons we have given for exempt. Mark the words Carnatic music performance, promotion of brand, consideration of 1,45,000. That will help you. Whether it is an exempt supply, we have two reasons for exempt supply also. And if it is taxable, then what will be the place of supply? That also you need to mention. Still 1 more minute is there for you to answer this. Apply the concept. You will be able to do this. Don't get panicked by seeing so much information, because this is how the question will be asked in the exam. And we try to give you at least a good standard question so that if you see a difficult question in the exam, you should not get panicked. So try to attempt it with a cool mind. You'll be able to solve the question. So last few seconds to answer the question. This is an easy question, I suppose. Fanatic music performance is given for promotion of a brand. Value is 1,45,000. Okay, so time is up. 5 students have answered. And on the leaderboard, we have on the top Mridul now. So Mridul,
Good.
for the first time, is there on the top of the leaderboard, and followed by Leo, Khushi, Urmik, Shubhajit, and Vaikunth and Hiten. So let us see what is the correct answer. Correct answer has been marked by 2 students.
And
So I
two
think
equally have marked the incorrect answer also. So that means students got confused in this simple entries. So which were, it seems to be
I think you
simple
got
entries.
confused because many students have marked it as exempt also, and we have given this option. No, not many, only one student is there, but still, some of you have at least marked option one, that is exempt supply. We wanted you to know that it is not exempt. So
Yeah.
that is why Mridul, I think he topped the chart because
See,
he must have
classical
answered.
musical performance by the artist Surya, it is not exempt. Even though the consideration charged for this performance does not exceed rupees
That is the
1,50,000,
cutoff date. That
which
is
is a
cutoff
threshold limit.
threshold
Yes,
amount.
1,50,000 is a threshold limit, and here the amount is rupees 1,45,000. Why? Because he has performed as a brand ambassador.
That is an exception to
That
the
is an
exemption.
exception to the exemption. That is why the same is taxable. Now coming to the place of supply. Here, the place of supply is location of recipient, that is by default rule, section 12(2) of the IGST Act 2017.
Because it is not one of the specified
Specified
services.
service,
That
that
is
is why it falls under the default rule. Location of recipient is Rajasthan, and then that's why it is an intra-state supply.
Let's come to the next question. So Surya has provided intra-state services as a business correspondent of Money Money Bank. Money Money Bank is registered in Rajasthan, and Surya has provided these services with respect to accounts in its Jaipur city branch of Money Money Bank. Value is 1,20,000. Now, whether the transaction is exempt or taxable, and if taxable, tax is payable under dash. So first of all, you have to tell whether it is an exempt or taxable supply. If it is a taxable supply, whether tax is payable under forward charge or tax is payable under reverse charge. Full 1 minute, in fact, more than 1 minute is there for you. Services provided by a business correspondent to a bank with respect to its Jaipur city branch accounts, and the tax will be paid by whom in case it is taxable. In case it is an exempt supply, then you have to you have to mark the correct answer.
Hurry up, we have in total four more
We have
four
four
more
more
entries
entries.
left.
So we want all of them to be discussed in the class so that you can at least complete this question.
Yes.
And you can, if such a question comes in the exam, you are prepared for that. Three students have marked the answer. We want more of you to mark the answer. Out of 30, many of you can mark. At least if you do not know the answer, you can still, mark the answer which you feel is the most correct. 20 more seconds left. This way, this entire question, all the entries will be covered. And then you can see the set off of input tax against the output liability. That I think you will be able to do because whatever time is left, we'll be able to cover only the entries. So last few seconds, any of you who want to mark the correct answer? Okay, time is up. Let us see the leaderboard. So on the leaderboard, we now have Mridul on the top, followed by Leo, Urmik, Khushi, and Shubhajit. And the correct answer is marked by 5 students out of 6. So at least those who are answering are marking the answers correctly. Good to see that.
Your preparation is up to the mark, we can say then.
Because these questions have tricky points in them.
Yes.
And if they are giving you whole soul revision also. So Surya has provided intrastate services as a business correspondent. Now, business correspondent, if it provides the services with relating to the to any banking company or NBFC with regard to its rural area branch, then it is exempt. But here, Jaipur city branch, we have specifically mentioned. Now, Jaipur is a city, and therefore it is not a rural area
branch.
Yes, and that is why it is not exempt. So that it becomes taxable. Now comes the reverse charge provisions. Now, with regard to business correspondent, there is a reverse charge entry which says agent of business correspondent if it provides any service to business correspondent. That is chargeable under reverse charge, and business facilitator if it is providing any service to banking company, that is chargeable under reverse charge. But this is not the case there in our given case. In our case, business correspondent is providing service to a bank. Therefore, reverse charge will not apply. Okay. That is why taxables apply and forward charge. So let's move to the next question.
Surya has rented a commercial property in Jaipur, Rajasthan to Ganga Limited, a supplier of goods and services registered in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Surya is a director in Ganga Limited. Whether the transaction is exempt or taxable, if taxable, tax is payable under dash. Exempt, taxable supply, reverse charge and services provided by director are taxable to company under reverse charge. Taxable supply, forward charge, taxable supply, reverse charge and services of renting of commercial property is taxable under reverse charge.
So basically, you have to determine whether it is an exempt supply or taxable. If it is taxable, whether reverse charge provisions will apply or not. Important information is commercial property is there. Surya is a director in Ganga Limited. Surya has rented his commercial property to Ganga Limited in Jaipur, Rajasthan. This is a very, very good question, which will help you in understanding many entries of the simultaneously, you will be understanding some of the entries of exemption also, reverse charge also. So try to attempt this question. We have given you ample time also for this question because this has few provisions to be applied. So that is why we have kept 3 minutes for this question. We don't want students to be, get bugged up with the less time allotted to a question. So complete 3 minutes were given to you. Still 1 minute is left with you to answer this question. So those of you who have not answered, please mark the answer. Please read the question again and mark the answer. It has the application of exemption. It has the application of reverse charge provisions. If it is taxable, then it has the application of reverse charge also. So you might have got hint or you might have got misleading, ideas. So you have to see. It can be a misleading information also. You have to judge. So last 30 seconds left. Last few seconds for this question and the time is up. So let's see the leaderboard first. So on the top, we have Mridul, Urmik, Leo, Vaikunt, and then Khushi. And 3 students have given us the correct answer out of 6. 2 have marked it wrong. This question has lot many points to be understood.
Let me explain the one point
Yes,
to you.
one by one she will be explaining you.
See, renting of only residential dwelling, as ma'am has already highlighted that please note that here Surya Limited renting the commercial property in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Renting of only residential dwelling for use as residence is exempt. So this is not an exempt supply.
So
one
first
option
thing is
is
ruled
already
out.
ruled
Yes,
out.
yes,
One
yes.
option is ruled out. Now this is a taxable supply. Now we come to the point whether it is a whether the same is taxable under reverse charge or the forward charge. See, Surya is a director in Ganga Limited, and he has provided this service in the in his personal capacity, not a director's. It is
because a
not a
director is
directorship
not supposed to
service.
rent you the commercial property. A director generally helps you in making the policy decisions, overall working of the company. But as a director, he is not supposed to rent out a commercial building to the company. That is why this service is not in his director's capacity.
Yes.
And this reverse charge entry, where we say director is providing services to the company and reverse charge will apply to a body corporate, reverse charge will apply, that will not be invoked in this case. Second reverse charge entry, which is there is
renting of commercial property, but in that case, reverse charge applies only when the supplier is an unregistered person and the recipient may be a registered person. So in this case, the supplier
Surya
is
is a
a registered
registered
person.
person.
That's why reverse charge is not
So
applicable.
supplier
in
should
this
not be
case.
registered. Here, supplier and recipient both are registered. Though for attracting reverse charge, supplier should be unregistered. Here, Surya is registered. That is why reverse charge. That is why the reverse charge provisions will not apply. It is taxable under forward charge. Okay. So let's come to the next question. Next question is there on your screen. Surya sponsored a business summit organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan by Associated Chamber of Commerce and paid a sponsorship fee of 5 lakh to Associated Chamber of Commerce. Associated Chamber of Commerce is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Now you have to find out who is supplier and who is recipient. We had already, in brief, we have discussed it when we were discussing this question in the beginning. First question was based on this point only. You will get 1.5 minutes time for answering this question. Surya has sponsored the summit and Surya has paid the sponsorship fee to Associated Chamber of Commerce. Now, who is supplier and who is recipient in this case? This conceptual question is required for answering this type of questions in the exam. That is why we have put this question to you. We told you about these sponsorship services, the peculiar nature or the way the statements are written about sponsorship service, the way we describe the sponsorship service, that Surya has sponsored an event. So who will be the supplier and who will be the recipient? Still 40 seconds left for you to answer this. We'll try to cover all the transactions of this question.
Just one more entry is left.
We have to see how many MCQs we have developed for this.
Yeah.
Last few seconds left for this particular question. Who is the supplier? Who is the recipient? This is a very conceptual question, very basic question. And you should be knowing this question if you are appearing for the examination. This is very conceptual question. Let us see how many of you, only 4 students have answered this. Time is up. And on the leaderboard, we have
Mridul
again on the top. Is it going to change or is it same? Yes, Mridul, Urmik, Leo, Vaikunt, then Khushi and Shubhajit. And we have one more entry, Anu. After that, we have Hitain. So some of these students, I think those who have not answered earlier, but now they are answering it correctly, that the Associated Chamber of Commerce is the supplier and Surya is the recipient. So one student has marked as Surya to be supplier and Associated Chamber of Commerce to be the recipient, because the question mentioned supplier of service is Associated Chamber of Commerce as per our question, and Surya is the recipient. Why? Because Surya has paid the consideration. General or the simple rule to determine who is supplier and who is recipient is who is paying the consideration. One who is paying the consideration, he will be recipient because he is paying the consideration for the services or goods supplied, received, supplied to him or received by him. So Surya is receiving sponsorship services and Associated Chamber of Commerce is providing it. And in fact, when Surya is sponsoring the event, that means, or sponsoring the business summit, that means he's paying the sponsorship fee. And that is why he is supposed to be sponsoring the event. So with this question, next question becomes very easy. Once again, we are repeating, Surya is the recipient and Associated Chamber of Commerce is the supplier.
Surya has sponsored a business summit organized in Bikaner, Rajasthan by Associated Chamber of Commerce and paid a sponsorship fee of rupees 5 lakh to Associated Chamber of Commerce registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. Now, who is liable to pay tax and ITC is
available or not? These are the 2 questions you have to answer.
Yes. Option A, Surya is liable to pay tax, ITC available. Option B, Associated Chamber of Commerce is liable to pay tax and ITC available. The option 3, Surya is liable to pay tax, ITC not available. Associated Chamber of Commerce is liable to pay tax, ITC not available is option D.
So first of all, you have to see whether reverse charge provisions are applicable in this case or not. And if they are applicable, then who is the recipient? Or if they are not applicable, then who is the supplier? And whether ITC is available or not. You have complete 1 minute left with you. So you can once again read the question and answer it. And remember the discussion which we have just now regarding supplier and recipient. The sponsorship service is actually creating trouble for the students, I suppose. They're not able to still find out the answer. So we discussed it just now. And so we
Again, to tell you that one who is paying the fee, is the recipient. See, if I am receiving something, if I am receiving whether it is goods or services,
I have to pay
then
the
I have to
consideration.
pay the consideration. So recipient is the one who pays the consideration to the supplier.
Time is up. 4 students answered this. Let us see the leaderboard first. Urmik has topped the leaderboard this time with Mridul, Leo, Vaikunt, and Kushi on top 5.
This time there is a tie because
Yeah.
all the four options have got, one student have marked the
So options
correct
are so
answers.
close that you are feeling that all are correct. Each of you felt a different option to be correct. That we have to see. And then we have Shubhojit, Anu, Hiten, and V, Vaikunt on the in top 10. So Surya sponsored the summit. We told you that recipient is Surya and supplier is Associated Chamber of Commerce. And reverse charge provisions, whether they will apply or not. Now, this you have to see. Reverse charge provisions in case of sponsorship service apply if sponsorship services are provided by any person to a body corporate or a partnership firm. Now, in this case, the services are being received by Surya. Surya is not a body corporate, Surya is not a partnership firm, it is a sole
Individual.
proprietorship or it's an individual. Therefore, the reverse charge provisions will not apply in this case. Second question was whether ITC is available or not. Now, these services are being received by Surya in course of furtherance of business because when he is sponsoring an event, his business will also get propagated. So, therefore, ITC is available. There is no such concept or there is no such block or hindrance which is there for availing credit in this case. So, ITC is not blocked on sponsorship services and therefore ITC is available. And that is why the correct option is option B, that is Associated Chamber of Commerce will pay tax, ITC will be available. Let's come to the next question. And it is there on your screen. It's actually a conceptual question which we had put, though it will make us exceed our time limit.
Yeah.
But
in case where the supplier of a service notified under section 9(3) is unregistered, can said service be taxable under reverse charge? Option A, no, service is not taxable at all. Option B, yes, tax is payable by recipient.
this is a very conceptual question. You need to know this question. Because here the recipient is supplier is unregistered. Now supplier is unregistered. Does it mean that since supplier is unregistered, now he will not charge GST and therefore no GST will be charged, or GST has still to be charged on under reverse charge as per section 9(3)? What would be the answer? I hope the question is visible to you on your devices. Yes, we have started getting the answers also. So if you know this question, you will understand some very important concepts. Not only to be applied in this question, but in every question which you will be attempting in the exam, that big first question, this concept can be applied in that question. So 35 more seconds left for this question. And we request all of you to please mark the answers. So last few seconds. Time is up. Okay. So let us see how many of you have marked it correctly. Leaderboard says on the top we have Urmik, then Mridul, Leo, and then we have Vaikunt, Khushi, Shubhajit, Anu, Hiten, V, and Vaikunt, I think, has joined by two names. So the correct answer, all of you have answered it correctly. Good, that tax is payable by recipient. So in case of section 9.3, if your supplier is unregistered, then recipient has to pay tax under reverse charge. Very, very important concept, because 9.3 specifically provides that these are the services which have been notified, and supplier, even if unregistered, the recipient is cannot be freed from its obligation to deposit tax on that particular transaction. Next question, again, it's a conceptual question which is coming on your screen, is this. So we'll give you a bit lesser time for this question. Though we have allocated 2 minutes, we'll try that if we can wind it up early, because this is again a conceptual question. In case where the supplier of a service notified under section 9.4 is registered. Now we are saying supplier is registered in case of 9.4 service. Can said service be taxable under reverse charge? First option is yes, tax is payable by the recipient in case your supplier is registered. Option B says no, tax is not payable under reverse charge. Again, a conceptual question. So I think this much time seems to be sufficient, because we want to cover the rest of the points also. So we'll close this question. So we have closed this question because we want to cover other points also. And let's see what leaderboard says after this question. It's Urmik, Mridul, Leo, Vaikunt, and then it is Kushi, Anu, Shubhajit, Hiten, V, and Vaikunt again. So this question, the correct answer was tax is not payable under reverse charge. That is why I asked this question. More students have answered it wrong. In case of 9.4 services, 9.4 is applicable where your recipient is, where your supplier is unregistered, and there are specified, supplies which have been made for specified categories of persons are making specified categories of supplies of goods or services which have been notified. So notified categories of persons are there, notified categories of supplies are there, and supplier is unregistered as what 9.4 says. So in case your supplier is unregistered, then only 9.4 will apply. Plus, supplier should be a specified class of person, and it should provide specified category of services or goods. Then but here we have taken services only. So then the 9.4 will apply. In this case, our supplier is registered, therefore reverse charge cannot apply. And in this case, we have to see the other taxability for knowing the taxability of that particular transaction. So with this, we come to the next question, because we want to cover the GTA provision also. Yes. So the question is here on your screen. We have given ample time, but we'll cut short time a bit by 60 seconds. We have given 3 minutes, we'll give you 2 minutes. Surya has received the services of transportation of goods by road from Sindhu Transporters. Sindhu Transporters is an unregistered GTA in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Whether tax is payable on said transaction, you have to tell. And if it is taxable, tax is payable under reverse charge or forward charge. What will be the place of supply, and whether ITC will be available or not. So 4 questions you have to answer in this question, because this point has 4 points in it. We'll give you full time. We'll not take any time from you. Read the question again. I'm not reading the options. You have to read the options on your own, because that will take some of your seconds again. Read the question, read the options, and then answer the question. Options are there on your screen. So 1 more minute left for this question. 4 students have answered. Less than a minute left. 5 students have already answered. 6 have answered. 40 more seconds. In fact, I think those of you who had to answer have already marked their answers. 30 more seconds are there. I think we can cut short this time now. Let us see what our leaderboard says. So on the leaderboard, we have Urmik again on the top, followed by Mridul, Vaikunt, Leo, and then we have Kushi, Anu, Shubhajit, Hiten, and V. So in this question, the correct answer is marked by 5 students. In fact, good to see that all of you have answered correctly except one. And the reason is that tax, first of all, it is taxable because the services of GTA are being received by Surya, who is a registered person. So the exemption entry says that the GTA, the services of transportation of goods received by received from a GTA by a registered person are not exempt; they are taxable. Second thing is the whether the tax is payable under reverse charge or forward charge, that we have seen that even if supplier is unregistered, supplier is Sindhu Transporters, it is unregistered, then also the tax will be payable under reverse charge. Now comes the place of supply. Now this supply is the place of supply in this case is the location of the recipient, because the place of supply of transportation of goods where your recipient is a registered person, when you are transporting getting the goods transported and your recipient, that is Surya, is a registered person, then location of recipient will be place of supply. That means the location will be Jaipur, or place of supply will be Jaipur, Rajasthan. And whether ITC is available or not. Now, this particular service is being used in course or furtherance of business. Therefore, ITC is available. Hence, the correct option is tax is payable by Surya under reverse charge, and the it is ITC is available. In fact, I forgot one point to tell you that why it is payable under reverse charge, because Surya is a registered person. It is one of the specified recipient as per notification number 13 by 2017, which provides the provisions relating to the reverse charge. The recipient, if it is one of the specified recipients, so one of the specified recipient is the registered person. Though Surya is not Surya is not a body corporate, factory, partnership firms, or the society. None of these points covers this particular supplier, but he is a registered person, and that is why he get covered in one of the specified recipients, and tax is payable under reverse charge in this case. Now, next question is the last question, which will cover all the points of this particular question, question 6. With this, question 6 will be covered. You just have to see the final set off. So the question is there on your screen. Surya has taken cars on rental basis from Ajay Limited, registered in Jodhpur, Rajasthan. Tax is payable under dash on this transaction. So we have to tell whether reverse charge is applicable or not. What is the place of supply and whether ITC is available or not. Again, 3 minutes are there. This question will also be clearing lot many concepts of ITC as well as place of supply and reverse charge. So this is the last question for the day. This will complete your 2 RTP questions in the form of quiz. All of you have participated very enthusiastically, and we are happy to know that students have marked many questions correctly also. Somewhere where you have gone wrong will tell you where you have to improve upon. So 2 more minutes, read the question carefully and then answer it. And we have told you in the beginning that Surya is registered in Jaipur, Rajasthan. It is engaged in providing a bouquet of goods and services, including service of renting of cars. This information might be useful in answering this particular question. We'll provide you full 2 minutes which are left, and you need to answer this. 1 more minute left. So after this question, we'll be winding up this session. Any of you have any query, you can write in chat box.
Any
Otherwise,
feedback you have that you can also share with us?
you can share with us the feedback also. So we have 1 more minute for this particular question. A few more seconds. So last few seconds to go. And your time is up. So let us see the leaderboard first, because this would be the final leaderboard for the day.
Yeah.
And we have Urmik on the top, Mridul, Vaikunt, Leo. Then we have Khushi.
Anu, Subhojit, Hiten, V, Vaikunt.
Let's see after Vaikunt who is there, because Vaikunt has joined by 2 names, I suppose.
Vaikunt Vasu and N.
Yes.
So on the top of the.
Okay, you want to know who is on
the
the top?
winner of the day?
It's actually Urmik.
Urmik, Mridul, and Vaikunt are the
yeah,
top 3.
Congratulations to all 3 of you. In fact, all of you who have
participated
and
something
attempted the questions. Let us see this question. Now, Surya has taken cars on rental basis from Ajay Limited. So, Ajay Limited is the service provider who is a body corporate. Surya is a non-body corporate. First of all, this is a taxable service, that you know that there is no exemption for this particular service. Second question comes now, whether tax is payable under reverse charge or not. Now, tax on renting of motor vehicle, where cost of fuel is included, and the rate which is charged in the invoice is not 12%, by a non-body corporate to a body corporate. Mark these words. Supplier should be a non-body corporate. Recipient should be a body corporate. Then it will be payable under reverse charge. But in this case, the first condition itself, that is the supplier is a non-body corporate, is not fulfilled. Supplier here is a body corporate, that is Ajay Limited. Recipient should be a body corporate. In our case, recipient is an individual. So therefore, tax is not payable under reverse charge. Second thing is place of supply. Now, place of supply will be location of recipient, which is again Surya, and it is Jaipur, Rajasthan. Now, that is why we have made a difference, though it does not make much of the difference, but we wanted you to know the concept of place of supply. So, place of supply is location of recipient here. Third is whether the ITC is available or not. Now, in the question, we had mentioned that the services provided by Surya included services of renting of cars. Now, so the ITC of service of renting of cars services now taken here, the services of renting of cars he is availing. He is a service provider for the similar line of service also. So in this case, the ITC on renting of cars service received by Surya will not be blocked, because he is engaged in similar line of business. He is providing similar line of services. Therefore, the ITC on renting of cars will be available to him. And that is why the correct option is forward charge. Tax will be payable under forward charge. Place of supply is Jaipur, and ITC will be available. To this extent, this clarification in the question we have added, and it is there. It will be there on the website also, that the supplier Surya is engaged in similar line of business. Okay. So with this, we come to an end of this session. I hope you all would have enjoyed. Shall we start writing answers from income tax portion or GST one? Again, it is your choice.
Yes, the one you know the best.
Sudha.
You have prepared in the best manner. After looking at the question paper, you feel that yes, you know the GST. Your answers question seems to be familiar, or you know the provisions of GST better or the income tax better. You may start with the one which you know the best. Actually, it is advised that first of all,
First question should be the question which should be
you
best
know
known to you. In fact, quickly we'll take 2 more minutes, because I think we had promised all of you that we'll be telling you how those 15 minutes to be used. So in that 15 minutes, you'll get your descriptive question paper. You will see the paper and you will mark the compulsory question you need not check because
Right.
that you have to attempt anyhow. But the choice based questions, those you have to see, and you have to see which question answer to which you know the best. That question you have to mark as the first question you will be answering, followed in the descending order, that next best question and so on. Then you have to allocate an estimated time for each question because you will see the complexity level, you will see how much you are familiar with that particular question, and you will allocate an estimated time and the sequence in which your question has to be done. And try to allocate a estimated time for the MCQ portion also. So that as soon as you get the question paper, you have done all the planning, you know that which questions you have to do. For that, you have to have a glance at the questions. Don't read the entire question. Then you will not be able to read the entire paper. Taxation paper generally has a very long reading time. So better you have a glance at all the questions. See if you know this, you have done the similar type of questions, you are familiar with the provisions. That questions you have to select, and as soon as you get the question paper, start writing with the best question answer, or the question to which you know the best answer. Right, start with that question, and then in the descending order you have to start writing. In case you are exceeding too much the specified or the estimated time limit, then leave that question then and there itself and move to the next question, because you know that you have to write all the answers, you have to attempt all the questions. Six average answers can fetch you more marks than three best answers. So you have to do justice with each and every question. And then at the end, if time permits, then you have to revise also. So keep some time for revision while estimating the time. It could be possible that you get that time exhausted in writing the answers itself, but at least you should plan in the beginning that you will be revising your answers, so that anything is left or something you want to add to any question, you will be able to do that.
One thing I would like to add, that your answer should be in commensuration with the marks
Very,
which
very
it
important
carries.
point. Very important.
You know, it should not be like if you know the question in the best manner, you keep on writing, you keep on filling the page. At the most, you will get the marks which the question carries. So if it is of 5 marks, you should write in commensuration with it. And during those 15 minutes, decide the question which you are going to attempt in the choice of questions. You have a choice of one question, the descriptive portion. So decide, during that time only, which question you are going to attempt amongst a choice that will save your time.
Definitely.
So with this, we are ending this session.
End of this session.
All the best for your examination.
And thank you for your patient listening. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you.